Good afternoon. I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle,
and we are the Mangums.
We want to welcome you to Straight Talk About the Blended Family.
We appreciate you tuning in to us today, and we pray that we will give you a fresh perspective on how to allow your blended family to mesh and to blend well. I got excited. Good afternoon. We are so grateful that you joined us on this fabulous Wednesday. I don't know if you've been outside, but I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangums. Welcome to Straight Talk About the Blended Family. You know what we do first. Before we go any further, we're going to have a word of prayer. Dear God, we thank you for this amazing day. We thank you for another opportunity to share with this incredible audience about Straight Talk About the Blended Family, to have conversations. God, we thank you for our special guest today. We just give you all the glory and all the praise in the precious name of your Son. Amen.
Amen. So at this time, we want to give our thank you shout outs. We want to thank God for this platform. We want to thank Lionel Green and the WBGR staff here at the station. We want to thank all our prayer warriors and sponsors and supporters who listen to our show, as well as share the show. So you can have a watch party on your Facebook page. You can have a watch party and share it with your family and friends. And hopefully something that we say today will be a blessing to them, to all blended families who hear the show and who, because this show is all about being a blessing to the blended family, helping them navigate through those waters of in their process of blending together. Okay? Fly, honey.
Oh, yeah. My wife had to help me out today. Listen, we are part of an amazing team called Team Broadus. And what this team is about, we're about raising funds for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And we're close to the launch date, which is June the 1st. So we need you to go onto my Facebook page, or even go onto the WBGR that have the Straight Talk About the Blended Family, and click on the link so you can make a donation. Listen, we have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old that are our boy and girl of the year for 2019 for the LLS. Listen, be a part of this amazing movement to take authority and to win the battle against blood cancer. So listen, check us out, LLS, Team Broadus. The second announcement, I am a part of a Step Family Blended with Love conference that will be taking place in Woodbridge, Virginia on June the 1st. We want to invite you, all step families, all blended families, whether you're a grandparent, whether you're a bonus, a bio dad. We want to invite you to come out and check us out. This is going to be some amazing speakers. Yours truly will be one of the keynotes. So I want to invite you June the 1st. I think it starts at 8 and ends at 5. They will have daycare. They will have lunch. It's going to be a blast. You deserve to come and to get empowered as a blended or step family. Thank you so much.
Now, if you have any questions at any time during the segment of our show, feel free to call in at 301-429-9247. If that line is busy, you can call on 301-306-7284, okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to join in the conversation. Today, our guest, as you can see, we have the hot seat right here. We have the chair right here in the middle. This is for our special guest. We have Lisa Brown Alexander. And Lisa is an author, an international keynote speaker, a CEO of nonprofit HR, and a CEO of Wellsprings, Manor, and Spa. Now, we're going to get into all of that when we come back, but we're going to go on our commercial break shortly. But I'm going to read Lisa's bio right now. Okay, Lisa Brown Alexander, CEO, international keynote speaker, and author. Engaging keynote presentations that inspire event attendees to break down barriers and challenge the status quo. Over 19 years ago, Lisa set out to build a market where one didn't exist. She founded Nonprofit HR, the leading human resources firm in the country that works exclusively with the nonprofit sector. Today, her thriving company is helping many of the world's most prominent nonprofit organizations get ahead through smart human resources strategies, and in the process, they're changing the way an entire sector thinks about talent and culture. Lisa's unique insights into the nonprofit sector, talent, and culture, and building a successful business in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges will leave your audience with the ideas and tools they need to make positive changes in their own organizations and careers. Under her direction, nonprofit HR has served some of the most prominent organizations in the country, including Amnesty International, Independent Sector, and NeighborWorks America. With more than 2 decades of human resource management experience working with nonprofits and for-profit organizations, Lisa and her firm have proven that better HR can play an integral role in nonprofit success. Nonprofits have benefited from her wealth of knowledge and experience to make their people-driven initiatives successful. She believes if an organization can strengthen its internal human resource capacity, it can better serve the community and those in need. Lisa brings these beliefs to every engagement and inspires nonprofit leaders to strengthen their most important asset, their people. Lisa actively contributes to the strength of the nonprofit sector through her advisory roles with Fund the People and Equity in the Center initiatives. She is a frequent speaker at national nonprofit conferences and events and has authored scores of articles in nonprofit and human resources publications on human resources issues. Lisa also serves on the board of directors of the DC Chamber of Commerce, Community Youth Advance, formerly Mentoring to Manhood, and the Prince George's Cultural Arts Foundation. So, when we come back from our commercial break, you are going to meet Lisa Brown Alexander.
Yes.
We know her personally. She is a beautiful person inside
Amazing
and
woman.
out.
Yes.
And Lisa, listen, wait till we talk about her wellness spa, her wellness manor and spa. That place is beautiful. It's fantastic. And if you want to relax, then that's the place you want to go. Okay. But as far as if you are a business owner and you want your company to run smoother, you need to bring Lisa in so that she can help you and your staff make your business
as a nonprofit
a better place.
Yes.
Okay, as a nonprofit, absolutely. Thank you, honey. All right, so after this commercial break, we will be back with Lisa Brown Alexander.
Tell your friends, share Straight Talk About the Blended Family. We're live streaming on Facebook, on the WBGR Health and Wellness Network. And we really want you to understand that today, I believe that with our guests and with our segment today, your life will change as a person, as a blended family, a step family,
yes,
and also as a nonprofit person that's connected to nonprofits. So stay tuned. Get your popcorn, get you something cold to drink, take your lunch hour. Come and check us out. Straight Talk About the Blended Family. We're coming hard today. We're going to level up. We're going to have a great time. So listen, in 1 minute, we're going to take a commercial break. Listen to the commercial break so you can come back and you'll be ready to be equipped, to be encouraged, and to be empowered.
And you can always, if you on your break and you can't listen to the whole show, you can always do a watch party later on with all of your friends and family on Facebook.
And share it.
And share it.
This is going to be an amazing show today.
It's going to definitely bless somebody's life. Okay? All right. We'll see you when we get back.
We'll see you when we get back.
Hey everybody, Michelle Mangum coming to you with a commercial break. Just want to let you know about our books. This book right here is called Blending to Make It, Ingredients for a Successful Blended Family. Now this book is the book that has 3 principles in it: practical, therapeutic, and spiritual. Let me tell you something. If you want your blended family to mesh well together, to blend well together, then this is the book for you. Now, everybody that has read this book, they've made comments on it, and the people who followed the principles in the book, their families are doing great now. Let me tell you something. We're going to be coming out with a book towards the end of the year that's going to be featuring all those blended family success stories, okay? So stay tuned for that. This book, From the Incubator to the Kingdom, is a book that if you had a troubled past and you're struggling with getting from that past or moving forward, this book right here is the book for you. This book will encourage you, it will uplift you, and it will cause you to be free. This book right here, let me tell you something. If you had a troubled past, this is the book that you need for encouragement. At some point in time this summer, we have a collaborative book that's going to be coming out. Straight talk about the blended family, keeping it 100. We drop it in this book, okay? We drop it raw in this book. So, this is a collaborative effort from me and my husband, Doc D, the blended family specialist. And you stay tuned for this book, because this book right here is going to let anybody know what to expect in the blended family. So if you're not in the blended family and you plan to get in one, this book right here is going to let you know all the ins and outs about the blended family. It's going to be encouraging though. So stay tuned for this book that's going to drop this summer. Now listen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to our WBGR Health and Wellness Show, Straight Talk about the Blended Family. If you want to get if you want to get one of these books, you can get it on Barnes and Nobles. You can get it on Amazon. There's some other outlets that you can get it on, but there's so many that I can't list all of them right now in this commercial break. But you can reach out to my husband at Dr. Blend 1, the number 1, DRBLEND1 at gmail.com, or me, Simply Peachy, MM at gmail.com. That's SimplyPeachyMM at gmail.com. And we will be more than happy to meet up with you if you want to sign book in person, okay? So, God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share it with your friends.
We are back. Straight talk about the blended family. Listen, we told you that we have an amazing, phenomenal young lady, Miss Lisa Alexander Brown. Brown Alexander. You know, it's all right. You know, I always, sometimes I got dyslexic, so every now and then I cross things up. But you guys are in for a treat today. I'm not going to talk a lot today. I'm going to ask some questions, but I want you to get this amazing young lady's gifts and talents to be poured into you. Listen clear. Again, I told you earlier, if you're at lunch, get you some popcorn, get your lunch, get you something to drink, sit down, and stay in tune to Facebook Live, Straight Talk about the Blended Family. So my wife is going to start off asking questions, but I want Lisa to say hello to all you wonderful people.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here with my family.
Yes.
The Mangums, we're glad to be here. Definitely thank you for the invitation.
And we're glad that you're here, because you know what? You've been doing stuff for a long time. And you've been touching people's lives in different sectors of the community.
Thank you.
And what you do with your business and what you do with your passion has created an environment to where people feel better.
Good.
Both as employees, as leaders, because you are a leader strategist. I know that. And so today we're not going to talk about me. We're going to talk about you. We want you to share. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Well, where shall I begin? I was born in Montreal, Canada, so I'm Canadian by birth. Not everybody knows that, but I'm born in Canada and raised in Canada. Came here when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
Put all of my belongings in my car and came here to go to Howard University.
Okay.
To pursue a degree in business, and went to Howard and never left. I stayed, and that was 30 years ago, and since then I've forged my journey around my career and my children and my businesses, and it's been a good journey, a long journey, sometimes hard, but I'm yet holding on, as they say.
Oh man,
All right.
That is wonderful. As you know, our platform is a blended family, step family platform, and we keep it real. We're straight talk about it, because a lot of times when people get into the blended family, they kind of don't know how to really converse about it or communicate or even just navigate through some of the challenges. I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's no challenges in the blended family. My wife and I, we're both bonus parents as well as biological parents. And so we've been in the step family, blended family for a number of years. I don't want to tell you how many years, but it's been more than 10. But we understand that the blended family is no longer a family system. We believe that's at the bottom, but they're rising to the top. And I believe that you, because you're in a blended family now.
I am.
And because you have always, from my understanding, I've been knowing you a few years, that you love family.
I do.
And it can tell by you being you're a bonus mom and a biological mom. And I know that you understand some of the challenges, but you also understand some of the triumphs. Because without challenges, there will not really be no triumphs.
That's right.
So challenges prepare you for triumphs. So the first question I'll ask, did you and your husband, your wonderful husband, let me say this about our husband, top of the line guy, outstanding young man. I can call him young because I'm a little older than him. I'm a little taller than him. So, but he's a phenomenal young man, business mind. Had a chance to meet him a few years ago, and he's just great, you know. And he was able to just befriend and love Lisa, and so that's because I recognize that he's a great man. But the first question, Lisa, is: did you and Kevin get premarital counseling before you got married?
We did. We did. Even though we were pretty old when we got married, you know, some people associate counseling with younger people. We did go to get counseling.
And why did y'all choose to do that?
I think it's important to make sure that you have somebody from the outside to check your perspectives and your opinions and make sure you're really ready. You know, getting married a second time is not a decision to be taken lightly. Okay. And when you're bringing all of your stuff, physical stuff and emotional stuff and just stuff into a relationship, you need to hear from others and make sure that you're hearing also from God.
That is such a wise, thank you for sharing that, but it's so wise because a lot of times people think that when you get mature in age, that you don't really need anymore because you think you have arrived. And maybe because you went through another situation and relationship that was marriage and it didn't work, you feel that, you know, I've been through it all and I know it all. But that also shows not only you and your husband's humility, it shows your capacity to understand that there's still more learning going into a whole new environment because no relationship is the same.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So did you feel counseling was beneficial and help prepare you guys to handle disagreements as they arise?
You know, I don't know that it helped to prepare for disagreements, but what it did was force us to have conversation about differences and different perspectives. You know, it equipped us to know where there might be some gaps that we would have to pay attention to later. Okay.
Wow.
And so
that's awesome. Yeah. That's
really
awesome.
I wouldn't say there's anything magical in the counseling as much as it is a conduit to kind of raise things that you might need to address later on.
And that you didn't think about bringing up prior to.
That's right. That's right.
And another thing that you said was I think it's so vital for you folks that are maybe thinking about getting married and maybe there's some children on both sides of the aisle. She said something really valid, and we always talk about this on the show, is we talk about communication. One of the things that we fail to really put a real priority on in relationships is constant communication. And what my wife and I always talk about, having a serious conversation. Because sometimes in all the love and all the happiness and all the working together and all the striving and meeting your goals, whether it's God goals or your personal goals, sometimes there need to be a serious conversation. Sit down. Yes. So, because if you don't ever have that serious conversation, you know, most people think it's okay. Right. Everything is all right until you hit that divot in the road and things are kind of, you know,
And we always encourage everybody to have a love shop. Okay. You know, basically what a love shop is the family gets together either once a week or once a month. Okay. Or however often they can, and they sit in a circle, and they just talk, and they just go
That's
for
so
it.
Wonderfully old school.
Absolutely,
I love that.
absolutely.
I love that.
And they talk everything out, and once they're done talking everything out, then turn it into a game night or a movie night. You know. Nice.
Yeah. I'm borrowing that one.
Yeah, that's the concept. Yeah, you can have it. You can borrow it. But that's the concept my wife and I came up with during a counseling session. We were counseling a blended family. Okay. A premarital counseling session. And we kind of gave them steps to create their environment to where healthiness can be a part of where you're going. Because when new people get together, new husband, new wives, new kids, there's so many things that need to be figured out. Right. And then there's also need to be a relationship building opportunity. That's right. You know, and with this love shop, real quick as we move on, we always tell the parents or whoever we talk to allow the kids to be transparent and allow the kids to have a voice appropriately and respectfully. Because what this does is start connecting the dots of the relationship pattern that's being formed. And then they become friends with their step siblings or their non-biological siblings. And then they get a chance to see the new mom or the new dad in a kind of chill mode where it's not so structured. and yeah, intense, and you know, and then you can have fun, because what my wife and I really believe with this love shop is that it will bring people to having fun.
That's good.
And start building relationships, sometimes unconsciously and not so formally, informally. And so that's what we try to make sure. And we also said there's not going to be no punishment for the kids if they say something. Because they may say, you know what, Mother Lisa, I really don't like you right now.
Right.
You know, I really don't like you. And you know, and
but then they can tell you why.
And then they can, and we ask them, ask the question why.
A lot of times we found that it's not even a reason that you had anything to do with.
Right. It's something else that they're carrying around.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because everybody have baggage. Children have baggage.
They do.
Adults have baggage. And sometimes because they're still trying to fill out the new parent or the new brother and sister. Okay. So we just thank God for that love shop. The next question is, did you have any concerns about entering into a blended family or step family?
No, not initially. I knew my husband for a number of years before we got married, and our children became friends, especially our sons. My oldest son and his son, he has one son, and they became very close friends. Okay. So it didn't feel like a thing we were getting into as much as an evolution of an ongoing relationship.
That's awesome.
His son is great. He's very mellow. He's much like my son.
Okay.
So it was very easy to love him as my own son. He hung out with us, slept over days on end, and he just kind of blended in. So it was very natural and easy to have.
Awesome.
And that's wonderful to hear, because our audience need to understand that not every blended family connection can be very tenuous.
No, it
can be smooth. It can be.
I had no issues.
But one of the things that you said though that created that environment is that your sons, and you begin to cultivate a relationship before y'all went into the marriage.
Absolutely.
And so I think you had enough security, and your husband had enough security to say, listen, let's blend this thing organically, if you will.
Yes.
Without all the rules and all of the structure and all of the goals, just flow. And see, sometimes the blended family don't realize that if we move away from the stigma, that when you integrate, it's going to be hell.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
You know, and I'm grateful that you're sharing that, because our audience need to hear that, because trust me, I talk to people and they...
Well, the thing is, that's awesome to hear, because there are people, now, you know, we have a great blended family relationship, but there are people who, because they grew up in one as a child and didn't like the way it went, they think, they're gloom and doom about the blended family, you know, so we're here to let them know that, no, there are some good blended families out there, you know, really, really, and their family system they can enter into one, you know. Just not be blindsided when they do it.
When I was younger, my father got remarried, and that was a challenging situation. Absolutely. I was probably 9 years old.
Yes.
And that experience taught me what not to do. Let me say that.
Absolutely.
And so, I learned and said if I were ever in the situation, I would be very intentional about being warm and welcoming and creating an environment where the children of my spouse would feel comfortable and not feel like others and different.
Absolutely.
You spoke a lot right there. I know, babe. Give me a second. I want to say this because I really believe that our audience needs to understand this about Lisa. Lisa is a warm person. I mean, we've been knowing her for a while, but she's always been warm, and she has such a concern for the betterment of kids and people. And I think that's the personality of where you are. And I think, and that's why I say counseling, premarital counseling, getting rid of some of the stuff that when you go into the blended family, you don't continue to take the U-Haul of the brokenness or the disagreements from the previous relationship.
And you may not have a U-Haul, you may have a wheelbarrow. But because everybody brings some stuff.
Everybody brings some stuff.
Absolutely.
I had a U-Haul.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I had a U-Haul. Listen, I even had another U-Haul. No, but what I'm saying, you're right. But I think it's the interpersonal part of that person to understand that we need to love. And we need to be accommodating, and we need to care. Okay. And so that's one of the things that my wife and I, we really try to do with our blended family. And our young people are young adults, and then we have grandkids that are in a blended family.
Right.
And so, we really try to show love and and the personality is a little different. But I think the good thing, God helps us to love them no matter what.
That's right.
And to be unconditional with them.
That's right.
And to show them that, guess what? I may be your bonus dad or your stepdad.
Like that bonus, yeah.
But I love you no matter what. I'm not trying to take the place of your biological dad. That's not my role. So that's why I think I wanted people to know that, because we all have different personalities, but if we work towards showing love and kindness and accommodating,
it goes a long way.
It does. And it creates an environment that where your family can be successful.
Okay, so what advice would you give a newly married couple who's getting into the blended family? What advice would you give them?
Wow, be patient, right? And acknowledge discomfort and give it space. Don't force it.
Right.
You and the person are, you're connecting, but it doesn't mean your children will connect. They can feel a whole myriad of feelings as a result of you coming together, and we have to honor that as parents, and we have to have the emotional intelligence, and this is my HR side coming out.
That's all right.
We have to have the emotional intelligence to see that it's a journey, and the children in our family may need more time than we do.
Well, real quick, I segue into this. Most psychologists, and I'm a psychologist, but most psychologists I read about says it normally take 3 to 6 years for a blended family to have some normalcy of connection. And when you said the word patience, and one thing I know when we talk about this on the show, that is one of the most far-fetching acceptance of virtue.
Yeah,
is patience.
Yeah.
Because
it's essential.
We're in a society now, especially you live in the DMV.
Instant. Everybody want an instant.
That everything is moving at warp speed in your family, on your jobs, in the traffic, and even in your homes, and with your kids. But
wait a minute, I'm not a patient person by nature.
Okay, by nature.
But I know that it's critical to be patient when it comes to relationships. I am not a patient person. I'm like chop, do it.
So this was a part of. I believe this was a part of God teaching you to learn that virtue, or to understand the virtue and be intentional with the virtue. Yeah. Because I really believe that for kids to make it in the blended family, the adults have to exemplify patience.
Yes, critical.
With them, with themselves, because most people don't even realize the outcome of being impatient over being patient.
That's right.
And there's some stuff that you don't even see right away. You might not even see it after the kids get out the house.
That's right.
They're going to talk about, my bonus mom, Lisa.
If that's what they call you.
Right. Well, that's
Pray
true.
on that.
Pray on that. Now you that's a whole nother segment. We have to bring you back about that.
we did go over that in one of our sessions. Segment. We said, listen, if we gonna say bonus, be a bonus.
Yeah, because I struggle with that. They know that. People that know Doc D, if you said you're a bonus is an asset.
Yes.
It's a reward.
That's right.
It's something great.
That's right.
Now, if you're not a bonus,
that's right.
Something about these kids today, they will let you know that you're not the bonus. They may call you something else.
That's right.
But we're not going to get into that because we're going to keep it PG.
There we go.
I just think that, you're saying so many wonderful things, and hopefully people are listening and understanding the importance of having that virtue. Number 5, question is, what has been... Yeah, I like this because I wrote this my question.
Okay.
My wife she did all the rest of them.
Okay.
Let me get my glasses off of that because, I'm dealing with an astute woman. Miss Lisa, what has been your greatest challenge in joy in being a part of a blended family as a bonus mom?
So your greatest challenge and your greatest
joy.
As a spouse or a mom?
As a bonus mom. Your greatest challenge?
Finding my place with my daughter, right? So my husband has a daughter.
Right.
She has her mom. She has her mother-in-law.
Okay.
And then there's me.
Yeah.
And it feels sometimes a little,
it's weird.
Yeah. Well, you just got to fit in. And not try to be those folk, but find your own unique place.
Absolutely.
So that's been I think a little bit of a challenge, just figuring out, okay, how do I add value? How do I be supportive without trying to look like I'm usurping anybody else's role, right? It's so that I think has been challenging. I would say greatest joy. I love big families. When I was growing up, we always came together on holidays, and my extended family are like my family, so the lines were blurred.
Yes.
So I like it when the house is full and everyone is there, and there's food and laughter, and just we don't do enough of that, unfortunately. But that's been the greatest joy for me is more people. I like the family being big.
Awesome.
That is so critical. We're grateful that you shared that, because I think that a lot of times, because we live in a fast-paced environment, and because we all are. Well, majority of us are goal-oriented, whether we're entrepreneurs or whether we are leading companies or whatever, and we miss that real component
quality time
with our families.
Yep.
And what we don't realize, and I can tell you this by being a pastor and being a visionary, and I've seen it more than once, is that our kids take on our personality and our makeups of not having quality time. I always got to make the dollar. I'm not saying don't make money.
Right.
You don't ever hear me say that.
Right.
But is money more important than the quality time? And I'll say this, and to always keep it 100. I'll say this to always keep it 100. I went to my counseling mode, my voice. I'm sorry. To always keep it 100 is that we have to always be in a space. I ask God to give us that space that where we can spend quality time and push back away from got to get it done.
Right.
At the cost.
Right.
Of family and your children.
Agree.
Okay.
So next, Lisa, what inspired you to start nonprofit HR?
Oh, wow. So we're talking about probably the late 90s where I was working with some nonprofit organizations in human resources. So I was on staff at a nonprofit and increasingly saw that those organizations were in need of human resources support.
Okay.
They weren't able to find support at the consulting level that was, one, affordable, and two, that came with an actual knowledge and understanding of the sector. And as I watched that, I moved from organization to organization. Watching that, by the time I got to the third nonprofit, I knew that there was absolutely an opportunity to create a resource and a solution for organizations around HR. And that was almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
So since then we have grown. We're at a staff of 50. We're a national staff. We work with organizations across the country, and there's still so much work yet to be done.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wow, that's really incredible. I mean, for me, I'm just getting into the nonprofit area, and I'm definitely going to pick Lisa's brain as I get into that. But I think that's because you've been consistent.
Yeah,
when you talk about 19, almost 20 years, that's consistency and a wealth of experience and knowledge to create an environment of successful nonprofits in the HR platform. Awesome.
Okay, so what inspired you to do the Wellspring Manor and Spa?
Well, kind of the same kind of thing. I like doing what others haven't done. That's the first thing. Okay. But two, I have a tendency to kind of look around and see what's missing. And at the time, 20 years ago plus, what was missing was an HR firm to support nonprofits. And what I saw about my own community in Prince George's County was there wasn't an option for a restful, relaxing, beautiful destination that wasn't a hotel. And so it just, it got in my spirit. The Lord just set it there. And when I talk about write the vision, make it plain, it was just coming out. And I couldn't stop. And so my husband was very supportive. We went about the business of looking for a property, had a false start with one that we thought would work and didn't work. And inevitably we ended up with a property where we are now in Upper Marlboro, which, believe it or not, sat empty for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Just waiting.
Waiting for you.
Waiting.
Wow.
Waiting for your vision.
Waiting. And it didn't make any sense because the property is so beautiful.
It is.
And yet hidden.
It is.
Right?
Yes.
Kind of hidden in plain sight. Folk don't know that it's there.
Yes.
But why I started was really to create a space for people to slow down. Ironically enough, I don't slow down much myself, but I knew that there could be somewhere beautiful for the residents and visitors to Prince George's County to relax in style. And it's been a really great journey so far. We're in our 7th month, and the feedback from visitors has been nothing short of outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we came for the open house, and we walked through, and it is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's relaxing.
Yes.
And I mean, and the hospitality is awesome. Do yourself a favor. If it's your anniversary, you and your husband get a babysitter, take time, go to the Wellspring Manor and Spa, and we'll make sure that you have all the information by the end of the show so that you can contact Lisa and make your reservations, okay?
And I really want to kind of jump on that with my wife. This is a vision that God gave Lisa and Kevin to create an environment to where we become stressless.
Yes.
See, what we don't realize, and stress among the African-American community is the #1 killer. Because especially if you're in the DMV, if you're in a city where everything is high profile, high energy, you need to have a place to woo-saw, if you will. And I believe that this incredible environment, see, one thing about it, you can have the nice towels, the nice, great food, but I think the ambiance and the spirit that's in the people and the spirit that's in the owners of understanding the valuableness of resting. And I can tell you right now, I'm a high velocity type person. My energy level right now, I'm about to bust, but I get it, because when you pour out so much in what you do, you need to get to a place where you can just tone it down 100%.
That's right.
Because I think sometimes we may tone it down 10% or 15%, but health and wellness,
is important.
It's really, really important. And then it changes, I believe it changes the platform of your relationship with your husband and wife. And when you get out there. So let me say it right. Wellspring,
Manor
and Spa. When you think about that, you need to get in touch with Lisa. She's going to let you know.
So tell everybody what services both of these companies provide. Both of your companies provide.
Sure. They're very different from each other. So Nonprofit HR provides talent management and human resources support to nonprofits around the country. So anything from outsourcing, if they don't have their own internal HR capacity, to needing very specific targeted project-based support, or they might be looking for a new executive.
Okay.
We would support them with that and provide consultation and guidance. With Wellspring, that business, or that business, yes, it is a business, is intended to create a space for folks to be able to relax in style, right? Okay. We like nice shoes, and we like nice purses, and we like nice cars. Sometimes that's not what we need. Sometimes we just need to sleep.
Absolutely.
And we need to be able to do it in a beautiful place and not be apologetic.
Yeah.
So, I'm thrilled about both businesses. It's energizing for me. I don't rest enough. Real talk, straight talk. I don't rest enough. But I know that it's important to have the option, and we're thrilled to be able to offer it here in the county.
Awesome.
That's just really amazing. And so, what inspired you to contribute to write the books NPO Dilemma, HR and Organizational Challenge, and Nonprofit Organizations? Let's talk about that first.
You know, I was...
Well, before we go there, what does NPO stand for?
NPO is nonprofit organization.
All right.
Yeah, nonprofit organization.
I knew that. I'm sorry. Thank you, baby.
I know, but
You're right. I'm sorry. We got to help y'all out.
Because we will get, well, what is that?
Yes,
we will
NPO
get
is nonprofit organization. So I was invited to be a contributing author to that book. It's actually authored by someone else, but what they wanted was our knowledge and our experience having worked with nonprofit organizations around HR issues.
Awesome.
And so that was the focus of my contribution to the book.
And your next one, it says, The Nonprofit's Guide to Human Resources, Managing Your Employees and Volunteers. Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
That's another book on an equally important topic. We spent most of our time with that book around human resources and volunteer management issues. and how organizations need to navigate HR and the importance of HR as it relates to organizational health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you? So with that said, have you, because you've been in this sector for a while, have you gone in and taken a place from the grassroots in nonprofits that was very dilapidated, and you guys kind of gave them some tools,
Yes,
and some mentoring,
okay,
to
yeah.
cause them to shift or pivot to being successful?
Yeah, there's one organization in particular that I'm really proud of. They're a mental health organization based in New York City, and I'll leave them unnamed because
That's
our
fine.
work is confidential.
Yes.
But that organization, while having an amazing mission and doing really important work, had some internal challenges around culture. And through our consultation with them, and I actually manage this client directly myself, we're able to really shift and transform their organizational culture.
Awesome.
It was toxic, it was unhealthy, folks were unhappy with leadership, and we created a process through which they could kind of lift all of that up, make the leadership aware, and then, equally important, create a process for addressing the leadership concerns in the organization.
Okay.
They now have what they call culture champions in the organization, and those individuals are responsible for keeping their fingers on the pulse of the culture and making sure that things are healthy. And it's owned by the staff. It's a bottoms-up approach.
Okay.
And things have really improved significantly there. And I'm really glad about that. That kind of impact makes all the difference in the world, because then they can be about the business of their mission, and it's an important, critically important mission. So I was glad to be a part of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us about, you are an international keynote speaker.
I wouldn't say that.
So
She's being humble again, but not on this. Straight talk.
she is humble. However, we're going to dive in.
Oh, wow.
So tell us about that. So you go around and you do all these conferences and
I do.
speaking engagements, and you not only do it in a business sect, but you also do it in the gospel sect.
I have. Wow, you did some digging. Wow. Well, so let's see. In terms of speaking, I speak largely for nonprofit HR to talk about issues and advocate for better human resources practices in organizations. So universities, conferences, other nonprofits that are convening folks around that topic.
Okay.
The furthest I have gone has been Australia and New Zealand. So that was very exciting. I was invited to speak in New Zealand probably about 5 years ago at a conference, and that was the furthest I'd ever been in my entire life. When I tell you that plane ride would not end, it was every bit of 24 hours in the air, literally on the other side of the world. But when I tell you, it was a life-changing experience. I learned about the people of New Zealand, I learned about the culture of New Zealand, and I learned about how they practice human resources and what the nonprofits in that country experience. So it was a wonderful experience. And then because Australia and New Zealand are so close to each other, I also went to Australia and had an opportunity to speak with some leaders there. So that was great.
Awesome.
Early in my career, because I was born in Canada, and this is not HR related, but gospel music related, so you did your digging. I worked with a group of us, created an organization for gospel musicians and gospel artists in Canada. And we used to host a series of conferences and concerts and shows. And I told my son the other day, I said, you didn't know Mom was I produced some shows. And he's like, what? Shows? Concerts? Not you. But yeah, that's what I did early in my time. And it was great. It was fun. As I said, I like doing things other people haven't done.
Yeah,
and it was fun at the time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just found this out today, so that's why I told people. I said we have a phenomenal philanthropist coming on this. She has so many different gifts and talents, and we're grateful that we could bring somebody like you with the magnitude and the heart. See, a lot of people, I want to say this, a lot of people doing a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but they're not doing it with their heart.
Well.
And I'm honest with people, because my wife and I, we do everything with our heart with the help of God.
Yeah.
We're not doing this to try to gain popularity. I tell
Right.
people, I never meant to do stuff to be famous.
No.
I meant to do stuff honestly to minister, to help, and
That's
to
right.
serve.
That's
I am
right.
a servant leader.
Right.
And I know you have those same attributes because you wouldn't do what you do if you wasn't a servant leader.
Yeah.
So, anyway. What else, babe? We about done? We got 15 more minutes. We not done.
I know.
We ain't getting.
What
she
are
ain't
we
get-
talking about?
I know.
She ain't getting off on that. So anyway, so in your journey
Yep.
of being a bonus mom, have you had a chance to talk to other bonus moms to encourage them and kind of empower them and share some of your story with them?
I haven't.
Okay.
I don't consider myself an expert in that space, right? So I can go behind the scenes. I can lead, but I can sure enough go behind the scenes. And
Okay.
in this space, I don't know that I would position myself to be an expert. Now, if somebody came to me and said, "Well, how do you do it?"
Right.
I would
got
share
you.
my own journey.
Okay.
But I wouldn't position myself to be an expert. I'm an expert with my life,
Right.
but not anybody else.
Yeah, and I guess the reason why I ask that because there's some people that's listening to us now, maybe don't want an expert. They just want a real person that don't have all of the
Yeah.
quote unquote credentials behind their names.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people, and now some people don't even know that I know what I know.
Right.
I just want to be a listening ear sometimes. Sometimes people just need you to listen
Yes,
to them.
they do.
They don't need you to give all of your therapeutic
Yes.
GPS techniques. They just really need you to listen to them. And that's why I made that statement or asked that question, because there's a lot of bonus moms out here that really need somebody that's really down to earth to them
Yeah.
and kind of give them some navigational tools that's not so deep. Because sometimes people, in my opinion,
Yeah, we get deep.
people get too deep.
Right.
And I just
It doesn't
need you
take
to
all that, as they would
No.
say.
And I just need somebody just to tell me, listen, I need to have a work on being intentional, to be patient with my kids, with my bonus kids, as well as my biological kids.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we try to give too much, and we try to give too much that's deep.
Yeah.
And they just need somebody to encourage them.
Yeah.
You know, that what you're doing is good,
Yeah.
but let me tell you what I did that maybe can add. See, people don't like for you to add, but if you add it with a sense of kindness.
Well, that's it. And there's a universal truth that transcends, the wellness business we're in, that transcends HR, that transcends my role as a mom and a wife and it's to listen
Yeah.
more than you speak.
Yeah.
Right? And when we listen, we really allow people to pour out what is heavy on their heart.
Absolutely.
It's something we don't do enough of, to listen to where people are, to be kind. We're not kind anymore as people in general. And I just think that they're between kindness and listening and empathy, it can take us so far. And those are skills that you need both in business and in your family relationships.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you
To
something.
listen,
Absolutely.
to be empathetic, and to be
You
kind.
need it, and
Absolutely.
I'm going to say this, and then I'll probably get some texts. But if you're carrying the gospel
Right.
of Jesus Christ as a servant, I'm not talking about as a preacher. I'm not
Right.
talking about as an elder. No. Those are labels. Those are
Right.
titles. I'm talking about as a born-again believer in God. You need to have kindness,
Yes.
and you need to have empathy,
Yes.
and you need to have the
Absolutely.
capacity to listen.
Absolutely.
Now, y'all know Doc D. I keep it 100.
Yeah.
There's one scripture said, by loving kindness have I drawn thee. Jeremiah. Another scripture said in James said, be slow to speak and quick to hear.
That's right.
And I think, and then to have empathy, have the capacity and empathy for me, this is just me, is to try to put myself in somebody else's
That's
shoes.
right.
I may not be able to fit their shoes,
Right.
but because if I put myself in their shoes, Lisa,
Yeah.
then I know that I don't have to hit them over their heads.
That's right. That's
Let
right.
me just lift them up or take their hand, whether it's
Well,
figuratively or whether it's
When we grew up, we grew up under the village.
Right.
There
Right.
was the village.
That's
There
right.
was the neighbors. That you can borrow sugar from. You can, you know what I mean. If you're running low on something, you know, you can go to them. They can come to you.
Yeah.
You know, they looked out for each other's kids when they were out. You know, if you were in the house cooking and your kids were outside and their kids were outside, you know, one neighbor watched the kids.
That's right.
You know, and that village mentality has dissipated some.
Right.
You know, and people have, you know, just it's about them.
Yeah.
You know, that
is.
selfish and I struggle with that selfish,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm so giving, you know, that I struggle with that selfish
Me too.
spirit that's out here, you
Yeah.
know. Because, you know, everybody think it's about me and what I want to get and all that, you know, and it's not about that.
No.
You know, when you help, you will receive in return.
Absolutely. And when you're in a blended family, as the parent, you have to give more than you get. It's not about you.
Absolutely.
Oh, you need to say
give
that
to
again.
Now,
I think they
Lisa
need
hit
to.
the head on the nail on that one. You hit the head on
You have to
the
give to your
Ooh,
spouse. You have to give
that's
to the
rich.
children who are not
Yes,
yours.
yes.
And when you do that, you know, things can really get a little easier. There's a phrase in a song sung by India Ari. If we both love each other, then we both can't lose, right? If both partners or both spouses are listening and trying to give on a consistent basis, then all the stuff, that wheelbarrow, that U-Haul that you brought in, becomes less important because you're focused on making the other person happy.
Absolutely.
How can you make them comfortable? How can you make them feel welcome if they came
Exactly.
to your home or you went to theirs? How can you convey to them that they're important in your life, right?
Yes.
If we focus on those things, it can make a
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
And it's just so much easier to be nice
Yes,
than
it is.
to be mean.
Absolutely.
It's just so much easier.
Oh my God!
Absolutely.
I
So
think
much less
I
energy.
think that you
Absolutely.
know, my wife and I, we're going to celebrate 15 years
Oh, wonderful.
of marriage.
Amen.
And I can tell you,
15? How'd that happen?
I don't know, but I can tell you, this thing has been it's been so amazing for me.
Yeah.
You know, as a bonus dad and a bio dad, to be married to this woman who, in my life, exemplified kindness.
That's right.
And nice.
I know it's
and,
true.
And I don't even have a problem with being kind and nice to her.
Right. Because she's kind of nice to you.
Exactly.
And that's how it's supposed to work.
And we don't do it because we want people to say, "Oh, the mangum stink." No. We do it because it's organic with us.
Right.
You know.
And it feels better.
And it feels better, and we love
Kindness
our kids.
begets kindness.
It does all day long. And you know, Lisa, as we talk about this, and sometimes, you know, I talk to some blended families, and I counsel with them, and some of them are really going through that mean and that disconcerting and that harshness and that cantankerous.
I know
you
about
know.
it.
And I told somebody, let me, and I told some guys this. I did a men's conference, and I jacked them up in a kind way. I said, brothers, men are givers, and women are receivers. If you give your wife kindness and love and acceptance and respect, you get double portion.
That's right.
And then it passed down to your kids. And, you know, people look at me and somebody say, you know, my wife told me, she said, sometimes, you know, you get in that business mode, you kind of like straight to the point. I said, no, it's the military in me. I said, but I will always love people. And I tell people, I love you to life. I love you to the kingdom. And I wasn't really brought up that way because sometimes we brought up where we have to survive.
Right.
And sometimes you take on those survival mechanisms. Sometimes that harshness comes in, and you don't even know it. But when God comes in, I believe God is the author of changing your spiritual platform.
Absolutely.
Of how you become kind and how you become loving, and then your kids see that. And you know.
Well, not only that, but how can you say that this is your walk, that you're as a follower of Christ and be mean? Yeah. Those two things are incongruent.
Yes.
And so,
very much so.
I can't testify to you. I can't witness to you. I can't be an example for you about who God is. I can't be God in the house, meaning in a positive way. I can't show God if I'm mean at the same time.
Exactly.
And that's what's going on in society now.
Yeah.
So many people are misconstruing the love of God that people don't want to go to church.
Right.
Because
they get hurt the most from the
folk in church.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know, if this is what God is about, I don't want any part of it. But it's not what God is about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then your kids see that. I mean, this, and we're gonna get to the last thing, but one of the things that somebody paid my wife and I a compliment And sometimes we don't even know how God helps us to touch people. And since we almost 6 months in doing our radio show, somebody said, you and your wife, she said, I watch your guests come on your show. And y'all, we can tell by looking at it that y'all make them really comfortable when they come in.
That's good.
And they don't, and they said, we can tell that you guys love one another.
That's important.
Our soon-to-be daughter-in-law said to me, and she said, Papa D, whatever they call me, she said, you and Mom are like that in real life. You and Mom are like that in real life.
Yeah.
What y'all all on that show?
Yeah.
Is what we see with y'all. Y'all cut up. Y'all have fun. She'll jump over that way and kind of get you in a loving kind of way. She is straight. Cause my wife Michelle, she'll get me back.
There you go.
Cause sometimes I can travel. I love it. I can travel down some roads. She said, "Baby, that's down the script." I said, "You're right." I said, "You're right, honey. You're right."
And it's okay to go off the script.
It's okay.
But we
sometimes
gotta come back to it.
But that's what I love about her. I love. Because she's always been honest.
Yeah.
She's always been straightforward.
Yeah.
And I don't walk around, please don't misinterpret me. I don't walk around with my feelings on my fingertips.
Right.
I really don't.
Right.
Because if you ditch this out, if you put it out there, you got to be able to take something.
Right.
Gentlemen, if your wife suits you up and straights you out, just put your suit on, fix your bow tie.
She's
Say
doing
thank you, baby.
it in love.
Because she cares
It's all
about you.
love. That's right.
But we have really enjoyed. But Lisa, tell people how they can reach out to you on social media.
Sure.
And learn about Wellspring.
Yeah, so Wellspring is on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Just search Wellspring Manor and Spa.
Is it one word, Wellspring?
Yeah, on Twitter, on Instagram is Wellspring Manor and Spa as one long word.
Okay.
On Facebook, if you just search Wellspring Manor, it will pop right up. And on Twitter, it's at Wellspring Manor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So y'all got the address. Listen, we want to really invite you to check this out because you sitting up here listening to us today and you know you need a nice vacation in PG County and you know you need to take your wife. Like my wife said, get a babysitter. If you don't have kids and need babysitting, tell them where you're going. And tell them that the cell phone will be off.
There you go.
Okay.
And if you're getting married or you have somebody in your family that's getting married, book them a trip. Book them a trip to the Wellspring Manor and Spa.
Yeah.
Let's give them a gift certificate.
It, believe me.
And let them hang out.
And you'll forget that you're in Prince George's County. Trust me. You'll forget where you are. Once you get onto the premises, we just soak you up in love and treat you so well, and hopefully you will forget, and you'll leave feeling relaxed and rejuvenated.
Listen, we have had a tremendous time today. Lisa Brown Alexander has given us so many great nuggets about herself, her businesses, about what she's doing within the community, how she's touching the nonprofit sector, and how she's touching us as humans. We all need to rest. She even says she need to rest more. Mm-hmm. So she's going to start resting more after this because I'm going to pray for her that she rests a little more. Because she can't keep giving this. One thing I tell people all the time, I'm a firm believer, you can't keep giving out and don't put nothing in the tank.
That's true.
Or don't rest. Because you know what, like our cars?
You get burnt out.
Yes.
Not only that, you can only ride on fumes so long.
That's right.
And if you're in the DMV, I don't, especially if you leaving somewhere at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, don't have fumes. Right. I tell my wife, I don't play the fume thing. Put some gas in this guy, I'll put it in there. But no, my name is Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangums. So we want you to tune in next week at the same time. We're going to have another phenomenal guest, a young lady. But we want to thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
For taking out of your busy schedule to come, and we hope that, Lisa is family. Let me tell you something. Lisa is family. So that's how we roll. Again, before we close, let's have a word of prayer.
All right.
Dear God, we thank you for this amazing day, this awesome show. Thank you for Lisa. Thank you for Kevin. Thank you for her boys. Thank you for her bonus daughter. Thank you for working those things out so that they can be greater. Bless everyone connected to WBGR. Lionel Green, their staff. We thank you for everything, God. Continue to bless us that we may do your will. In the precious name of your Son. Amen.
Amen.
So, we still, the light's still red, so we talking a little bit till it turn green.
He should be
I know. That's all right. He got excited too because I think, you know, we had a phenomenal guest and very intriguing and very intelligent, bright woman.
Thank you.
I'm always grateful though because my wife put this lineup together. She said, "Babe, I want to do a month of May since it's Mother's Day.
No, that's
I want to bring on the
good.
women,
That's good.
mothers." And I said, "Babe, whatever you want to do."
Yeah. How did you?
And
get
then
the
he
show?
had the nerve to say,
It's no sense of
"Why
me
don't I
coming
do
up
the show by myself with,
with
the
the
guest?"
guest.
Oh, that
said-
would have been. You could have done that.
This is straight talk with the blended family.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye. So let me tell you, well, as soon as that thing
Till
go
next
off-
week.
Till next week. 1:30 to 2:30.
Share
Straight
tonight's
talk
show.
about the blended family. We
Share
still
tonight.
going.
Share today's show. Have a watch party with your family and friends later on Facebook, and let them tune in and get some tasty nuggets that Lisa was able to drop today. Okay, help somebody.
I think we gone. I just think.
Well, it's that time to end the show, but we've had an absolute blast.
Please come back and check us out on next Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30, to where we will share some more insights on how the blended family can rise. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Peace be upon you.